Hello everyone, welcome to another Calvary devotional. I am coming to you from my living room in my new home. I'm excited because I've never done it here before, and quite frankly, the lighting is wonderful. Technical standpoint. Anyway, so the devotional. I was thinking about the prophet Daniel because I've been studying him lately, and throughout the life of Daniel, he was used very, very heavily. He was a minister to different kings. He advised from Nebuchadnezzar to his son to King Darius. Throughout his life, he went through different kingdoms, different changes in power and regimes, and things like this. And a lot of people like to focus on that. And they like to focus on how he was thrown in the lion's den with King Darius, and God saved him. Everybody loves to focus on that story. The thing is, that happens toward the end of his life. People don't tend to look at the beginning of his life. So, Daniel chapter 1, okay? Let's start from the very beginning. The thing with Daniel is he was brought in from Jerusalem, okay? He was brought in with all the captives. The reason why he was brought is because King Nebuchadnezzar had told the captain of his guard, I believe it was, hey, look, I want you to go in there. I want you to get as many children they're smart, they're wise, they're basically, he wanted the best of the best so he could bring them to Babylon and train them and raise them as Babylonians, because he wanted to have more people on his staff. And so so Daniel's brought over, okay? And the first thing he's told when he gets there is, hey, you're going to be here for 3 years before we have an evaluation. In that time, you're going to be learning all these different things, and you're also going to, now focus on this, you're also going to be eating what we give you. That's kind of a problem, because God specifically had laid out in his law that he gave to Israel, hey, don't eat certain foods. So Daniel looks at this and he's like, okay, this is a problem, because I have been raised to love the Lord my God with all my heart, soul, mind, and strength. And I'm also supposed to follow his law, which means I don't eat these foods. And so Daniel is, he's sitting here like, okay, this is a bit of a problem. So he talks to the guy that sat over him. He's like, hey man, look, thank you, but I can't eat these foods. I can't have any of these foods. No. And the guy that's in charge of him is like, okay, but if you don't eat it, you're under my care. I'm over you. And if you are sick or you're no good, if it turns out that you're a waste of time, I'm going to pay for it. It's going to be my life. I'm the one that's going to have to take the blame for all this. And so Daniel goes, okay, you know what? Here's what I appreciate, okay? He goes, you know what? Let's do a test. For 10 days, give me and my friends nothing but vegetables. The Bible calls it pulse. Give me nothing but vegetables and water. And the guy's like, okay, all right. But the thing that kind of gets me is that during that time, obviously, there's a lot more than just Daniel and his friends, okay? Because Daniel actually says in there, like, hey, give me the vegetables and the water, and then compare me after 10 days to everyone else that ate what is set in front of them. And at the end of the 10 days, Daniel and his friends are much healthier than those that had the king's food. And so they were able to go on about their lives, eating the meals that Daniel kind of prepared, if you will, for them. What I find so admirable in this situation, and what I really want to focus on, is Daniel and his friends weren't the only ones that were brought over from Jerusalem, okay? There were probably hundreds, if not thousands, of others. Daniel and his friends were the only ones that went, you know what? I can't eat this. Which means everyone else around them, including those who were Daniel's peers, those who were part of his part of his church, if you will, they were partaking in the king's meat and the king's food and saying, you know what, I'm here now, this is my situation, I just got to deal with it. And Daniel and his friends were like, no. God gave us this conviction, we're not going to cross that boundary. And so because Daniel and his friends said respectfully and with all wisdom, okay, they didn't just fly off the handle and say, no, we're absolutely not going to eat this. They said with wisdom, hey, we can't eat this. And because they did that with wisdom and knowledge and with respect, God had favor on them. And so the head guy granted in this and said, okay, you know what? Eat what you need to, push away whatever you have to, it's fine. And so Daniel and his friends were able to live in a society that completely surrounded them, that permeated everything in their lives, that said, you know what? Do what we tell you and not what God told you. Okay? They were able to follow God's law through all that, and it's really cool because everyone else around them said, you know what? I'm here now, I'm just going to go with it. We as Christians sometimes have that choice. Do we go along because, well, this is our situation, or this is what we have to deal with? Or do we take a stand and say, no, this is what the Bible says, this is what God has said, I'm sticking to that. I'm going to be respectful, I'm going to be kind, I'm going to be considerate, but I stand by the truth and I'm not going to give it up. We have that choice to make. Even in this culture that's so hard on us and just they push down on us and say, you have to do this, you have to do that. Are we willing to take the stand and say, you know what? Even in the small things, okay? It was just food for Daniel, okay? It was food, okay? We today probably eat similar, if not the same foods as the Babylonians did in that day. But, with Daniel, that was his conviction. He said, you know what, I'm going to stand by it. I'm not going to give this up. God said, don't eat this, so I'm not going to eat it. Are we willing to take a stand even in the little things and say, you know what, I'm not going to do it? Just a thought for you guys today. I hope God put some in your heart through this, and I pray that you have a blessed day.